I just want to start by saying I'm sorry if there's any points where the tutorial seems jumpy or my voice changes tone suddenly or anything like that. I did my best, but this is my first tutorial, so yeah. Also, there's Celeste gameplay in the background for when I don't know what to put. Hello everyone. This is quite different from any other content I've posted on the channel. This is a tutorial for how to play any, and also again any, 4K Blu-ray disc on a Windows computer. To clarify, this means playing the disc without ripping it, just as you would with a normal Blu-ray player. There's only one other quote-unquote tutorial I could find for this. The thumbnail for that one is displayed on screen right now. It's just a lot of yapping about digital rights management, Blu-ray history, etc. It also spreads the misinformation that simply playing discs with a PC optical drive is impossible, which couldn't be further from the truth. I take no responsibility for any actions that you perform with this tutorial. I advise that you follow the terms of service on any disc that you may buy, and I do not at all encourage illegal activity. This video is for educational purposes only. This does not support Blu-ray menus, this is only to just play the movie. As far as I know, nobody has been able to get Blu-ray menus working for Ultra HD discs. If you want to do it, I wish you luck and ask you to comment and let me know how you did it if you do get them working. If you want to play Blu-ray special features, that must be done through Power DVD, which comes with most optical drives on a DVD that you just install, and the special features must be on a standard Blu-ray disc, not a 4K disc. Special features are not compatible with the message I'm about to showcase. For discs that have multiple cuts of one movie on a singular disc, the longer cut will automatically play, but it is more nuanced. More on this will be shown at the end of the video. For TV show discs, if they're standard Blu-ray discs, you will need to use Power DVD to play them. If they're 4K discs, you will likely need to rip them unless there's a method I'm not aware of. Now that we're done with disclaimers, let's get on to the prerequisites for what we are going to do. There are 4 main prerequisites that you need, and they all vary in price. First, you'll need a PC with a decent graphics card. I can't really speak myself as to what a decent graphics card is, as I've only done this on one GPU, RTX 3070, and a typical disc playback takes up about 16% of my video's decode section in Task Manager, as is shown on the screen right now. I'm not a GPU expert, but if you play video games and get even decent frames, you should be fine. It's also important to note that my setup of the video renderer, called MadVR, is different than what most people will use, so performance can be modified to what you need. Second, you'll need a 4K display to use with your PC, preferably one with HDR. Most 4K discs have HDR10, which makes a huge difference in playback, although you can get by with one without HDR. I personally use the MSI G321CU, although I would not say I necessarily recommend it to everyone. It's a very budget-focused monitor with some drawbacks, although generally it performs well. If you're looking for one, I'd recommend one with a high HDR10 rating, 10-bit color depth, and a diagonal of at least 32 inches. Third, you'll need an optical drive. To determine which is best for you, you need to know if your PC case has a slot for an optical drive. This can usually be determined by just looking at your PC case or looking up the model number for it online. If you do have a slot for your PC inside it, I'd strongly recommend getting an internal optical drive, for which the available model numbers are listed on screen. Installing an internal one requires some additional setup, which I'm not too familiar with, but I have some resources for the installation of it listed in the description if you need help with that. If for any reason you want an external drive, they'll likely be around double the price of an internal drive. I paid around $105 for my LG BP50NB40, with the benefit of being much easier to install, literally just plugging it into a USB slot on your computer. There are some ways to use drives marked as internal externally, but this is a big gamble due to firmware flashing, a process you will need to do for any drive you buy, not being compatible with the tools used to use an internal drive externally. That was a word sandwich. Also, with the price required to use an internal drive externally, you may as well use that money to buy an external drive. Two final notes on optical drives. First, there are some that are marked as 4K compatible or an Ultra HD drive, which cost like $200. I wouldn't recommend buying these. They're a waste of money, and the exact same result can be achieved with a drive that costs like half or even a quarter as much. Finally, do not get a drive made in or before 2016. They're likely not compatible with firmware flashing. This shouldn't be a concern if you're buying it new off Best Buy, Amazon, or any other new retailer, but look out for a manufacturing date on the label if you're buying it off eBay or another reselling website. Lastly, for prerequisites, we're going to download the All You Need zip file that's in the description. Downloading this isn't complicated, but you'll want to verify the integrity of the files before you use them, due to the sensitive nature of what we're doing. To do this, I've included a MD5 hash for them in the description. Simply go to the website listed in the description and put the zip file in before you extract it. If the text you get back matches what I put in the description, you're all good. If it isn't, then you need to re-download it and put it back in until the hashes match. Once you've verified the hash, you can simply extract it like a normal zip file. Now, on to step 1. The first software you'll want for this is MPC-HC and an external renderer, MadVR. The reason we're doing this is so that Dolby Vision content, which isn't supported on Windows, is tone mapped to HDR10, which is supported on Windows. MadVR is also highly customizable, which I won't go into on this guide, but we'll leave some amazing tutorials for in the description. MPC-HC is also my personal favorite media player due to their extensive customization options along with support for MadVR. But anyways, for this tutorial, we're going to download the latest versions of MPC-HC and MadVR, which have links found in the description. So we're just gonna download those, and then click through the installations for both of them. And if it says anything like, this might be a virus, just click through it. They're fine, and you can scan them yourself if you like. Okay, that's done. We don't need to launch MPC right now. Then we can extract this zip file here. Install. And then that's done. Okay, so now that we have it installed, we're going to go into MPC-HC. We don't need to do that right now. We need to go to Options, we need to go to Output, we need to go Direct Show Video, then we need to choose MadVR, we need to click Apply, and then we need to click OK. Then we're done. Now we need to open any video in order to change the MadVR settings. In order to do this, you can use just any video, but I'm going to use this example one. Drag this into here. Okay, I kind of stuttered there. Anyways, now what we're gonna do, we're gonna click the system tray icon, and then we're gonna go click the MadVR icon, then we're gonna go edit MadVR settings. Now we have our MadVR settings here. Here we're gonna do a couple things. Under devices, we're gonna go under our monitor, then we're gonna choose HDR. We're going to choose pass through HDR to display, and we're going to make sure send HDR metadata to the display is ticked. Then we're going to click apply, and that's only if you have an HDR display. If you don't have an HDR display, I recommend tone mapping using pixel shaders and making sure you have this turned off. Generally, you can play around with these settings, and the higher you go on these, the beefier of a GPU you're gonna need. But anyways, for now we're just doing pass-through HDR to display. Next, we're gonna go to properties. We're just gonna make sure of a couple things. First, we're gonna make sure no matter what we have PC levels selected for this, for the RGB output levels. We're gonna have it at 0 to 255. Next, we're gonna change our native display bit depth to 10-bit or higher. And to make sure that you can do that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go display settings. Okay, so for some reason, display settings aren't on the virtual machine. So what we're gonna do, I'll just show you here. So we're in display settings, we're gonna scroll down, we're gonna go to advanced display information down here, click it, and then there you have your bit depth. It might say 8-bit, it might say 10-bit, just choose whatever corresponds to your display. Yeah. For calibration, you can just have this disabled unless you've professionally calibrated your display, which probably you haven't done. For display modes, we're just gonna tick this on, and yeah, that's it for that. For color and gamma, I like to personally have my brightness at 15, my contrast at 9, and yeah, that's pretty much it. You can have gamma processing on if you know what you're doing, but generally I just leave it off. Yeah. Anyways, there's one more thing we need to do in MadVR. We're gonna try and turn all this off if you have a GPU that's decent enough for it. It's under rendering, trade quality for performance, and turn all this off if you have a good enough GPU for it. If you think you're lagging during a video, what you can do is just press Ctrl-J, and then you can see all this information, and yeah, that's pretty much it for MadVR. As I said, MadVR can be customized a lot more, but yeah, we're not going into that today. Lastly, for this step, we need to paste a couple DLL files, these two to be specific, into our MPC-HC folder. So what we're gonna do for this, we're gonna go MPC-HC, open file location, and then we're gonna go MPC-HC again, open file location again. Then we're just in here, we're gonna take these, drag them in there, and this is in the all you need zip folder, by the way, if I didn't make that clear. And yeah, now that they're in there, we're done with everything for MPC-HC and MadVR. Now, what we need to do is make our optical drive compatible with triple-layer Blu-ray discs. If you bought or own one that was on the images shown earlier, then you're already halfway there. What we need to do is essentially trick it into thinking that it's an earlier model or version of itself that's compatible with these discs. There's also some other benefits, such as, I believe, increased read speed and access to QoL regions, but those aren't as important. What we're going to use for this is SDF Tool Flasher and the firmware kit that's in the All You Need. So we're just gonna select our drive there, and I just want to say this process is very simple, although you need to be very careful with what you do. One wrong click could brick your optical drive. Although this mistake is hard to make if you're careful, there is an exception to what I'm about to say. So if you have any model of the LG BP50NB40, simply listen along and wait until the next section of this video. Now, for people who don't have this model to flash, in SDF Tool Flasher, simply select your optical drive at the top, select Write Firmware. Now we're going to want to select the bottom box, Now we're going to go to the firmware folder, select the appropriate firmware based on the images shown below, then select whichever one you need. I'm not going to do it because I'm not going to choose one that's not for my drive. Then you're going to just select that. Then you would click Start, wait for the green bar to go fully away, and then if there's no errors or anything, then you're done. If you have any further questions or concerns about flashing, there's an amazing thread in the description that might help you. If you don't have a LG BP50NB40, go to the timestamp shown on screen right now. If you do have that model, then you can watch and follow along. So, there's another download in the description for this model along with another MD5 hash. Download this, verify the hash of the zip file as you did before, then extract the files to wherever you like. Inside there are two folders, SVC-NB52 and SVC-NB50. In order to determine which one is right for you, look at the box for your drive. Mine says NB52, so I used the files in the NB52 folders. If you have one with an SVC code of NB50, use the one in the NB50 folder. For NB52 users, we first need to write the firmware with the NB50 1.03MK file. Use the same steps as I showed before to do this. Once it's written, we need to click Recover Drive and click the same 1.03MK file we did before. Then, under the firmware to write, we're going to click the BP60NB10 file. Once this is selected, you can click Start again. This will write, and once the green bar goes away, you're done, assuming there's no errors. For NB50 users, it's a bit simpler. We're going to first write the firmware to the NB50 1.03MK file, click Start, and then wait for the green bar to go away. Once this is done, we're going to write the firmware once again to the BP60NB10 1.0MK file, click Start, wait for the green bar to go away, then you're done. MakeMKV is a software commonly used for ripping Blu-ray discs, but it is also the only program that can decrypt any Blu-ray disc for local playback. There are some methods to play Blu-ray discs on your PC that involve downloading an AACS library and using other DLL files to access it, but this is the only method that allows for the playback of any disc. First, we're going to install MakeMKV version 1.15.4, which has an installer included in the all you need zip file. If you have the current MakeMKV version installed, you'll need to uninstall it completely. We aren't downloading the latest version as it doesn't work with the decryption we're doing. Now, just click through the installation and complete it. Nothing special. Then, run MakeMKV. And then we're going, I don't know why it's so small, we're going to need to register it. Don't worry. MakeMKV is always in beta and always has a free key when it's in beta. A link to this is in the description, and that post will automatically update whenever the current key expires. Once you've pasted the key in, just click OK, restart the application as it says, and then you're in. Now we need to go to the Preferences menu, click Integration, make sure MPC-HC is ticked, click Apply, and if you have any issues, such as the Blu-ray screen being black, what you can do is just unapply it, and then reapply it. If it asks for admin permissions, give it. I've had that issue before, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Now that this is on, we don't have anything else really to do for MakeMKV, but I do have a note and a warning. The note is that normally, well, I'll put an image on screen, you can see on the right-hand side of MakeMKV that if your drive was successfully patched, all these sections should say yes and the firmware type should be patched. It's just a nice way to verify that it was done correctly. Now, the warning is to not try and install the newest version of MakeMKV and this version simultaneously on the same computer. I actually tried this, and although I was able to have both of them installed at once, Blu-ray playback completely broke, and I had to uninstall both versions of MakeMKV and reinstall the older version for it to work. So yeah, just be cautious. Now, we're done with the actual steps. We can now move on to the demonstration along with some additional quality of life steps that might help improve your playback experience. The first thing we're going to do to start playback is just insert the disc into our optical drive. So, let me do that. And make sure you have the This PC tab open in File Explorer and wait for your Blu-ray drive to recognize it. This should not take long. Power DVD opened. Let's ignore that. Okay, so now we have Avatar here, so it's recognized. I'm using Avatar for a very specific reason, which you'll see. At this point, we can open MakeMKV, let MakeMKV recognize it. You'll know MakeMKV has recognized it once the label Avatar appears up here. And if HDR isn't on by this point, which, hold on there. So yeah, you're going to want to have HDR on by this point. If you're doing a 4K disc, if you're just doing a standard Blu-ray disc, HDR isn't needed, as it isn't used on those discs. So we can just close that. We can also close MakeMKV2, just minimize it, don't actually close it. At this point, you can just go File, Open DVD/BD. Do not do Open Disc. That is an entirely different process. I don't understand why, but it does not open the disc. So just open DVD/BD. It should automatically open to your drive. Then just click Select Folder. Give it a minute. This usually shouldn't take more than like 45 seconds. Your drive will probably make some noises. That is expected. Don't worry about that. And there we go. It might be a bit laggy at first. I'm not sure why that happens, but as I said before, you can just do Control-J. You shouldn't have to worry about it. Anyways, now we have it here. You can change the audio track if you want to change that for some reason. Yeah, that's just here. Video track, you shouldn't have any reason to change this. Subtitles, you can put them here. Like, you can select English, you can select French, whatever, but those are not gonna work. I don't know why they don't work on Blu-rays. So what we're actually gonna do is go to this website. I'll pull it up. It's opensubtitles.com. We're just gonna type in like Avatar, because that's the movie we're watching. Avatar. And we're gonna want to know the specific cut we're watching for Avatar. You probably won't have to do this for most movies. So, if we're watching the 2-hour 58-minute cut, that's gonna be, I don't know what that cut that is, but you would look that up obviously. Just download one that says like Blu-ray or BD rip. So yeah, just download that. Download SRT. Wait a second. Okay, then you're just gonna click Control-L, go to where you downloaded it, put the SRT file in, and then yeah, then you're just gonna have that in here. I can't show you it, obviously. I'm not gonna play any of the movie. I would get copyright claimed, but yeah, there you go. So now there are 3 different cuts of the movie on this disc, and I mentioned this earlier that this is more nuanced, but what you're gonna wanna do to figure out which cut of the movie you wanna play is there's this website, the Disc DB. We're just gonna search Avatar. We're gonna go to this one. We're gonna go to this one, and there we go. Avatar Special Edition Cut, Avatar Collector's Extended Cut, and if you want more information, like this is the 2-hour 58-minute one, this is the 2-hour 50-minute one. Okay, so now that we got the cut we want, we go back to MPC, click File, click Open File, then click Browse, and then go to your movie disc folder, go to BDMV, go to Playlist. You're gonna have all these. So then, this is what this website is used for. You're just gonna select which one you want. So let's say I wanna go to the Special Edition cut, listed as 00801. Then I'm gonna find 00801. So I believe 00800 is the theatrical cut, but I can't confirm it right now. So we're just gonna double click the 00801 one, then just click OK. And there you go, you have the 2-hour 50-minute cut. So if you have, if the movie isn't on the Disc DB, then you will probably just have to Google it. I'm sorry, there's not really that much of a better solution. Or sadly, you could have to just end up ripping the disc if it's on a 4K disc. Although I wouldn't worry about that too much, as this is pretty much like a very rare case. If it is a standard Blu-ray disc and you have that issue, you can just use Power DVD to play it, which, as I said earlier, I think, you can just play the Blu-ray disc like a standard Blu-ray in there. You don't have to do any of this method. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for this tutorial. I hope this tutorial worked for you. If it didn't, feel free to leave a comment and I'll assist you. If this did work for you, feel free to share it around to anyone who might need it. Have a good day!